conducted in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act. Adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by advertisement in the Cape May Star and Wave on the Township website and posted on the bulletin boards of Township Hall.
Please stand for a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. We're fortunate to have from PAC 63, Joshua Michael Smith, and also from PAC 63, John Payne. Would you please come forward for the Pledge of Allegiance? I would ask everybody here also to remember in a special way one of our township icons, Marvin Hume, who passed away last week. All right, take it away, guys.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Conrad?
Here.
Councilmember Perry?
Here.
Councilmember Simonson?
Here.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Here.
Mayor Beck?
Here. Okay, and where'd my little guys go? They bailed out on me.
Come on back up.
Come on back, guys. Come on, you're getting paid by the hour. Take your time. All right, we have the Arrow of Light Award for these two young guys. It is the only Cub Scout badge that goes with you when you become a Boy Scout. And we're, council, if you don't mind, we'll step down and we'll read their proclamations because they had to do a couple things in order to achieve this badge. Did you guys do your homework already before you came out here? All right. Okay. Okay. We congratulate Joshua Michael Smith on achieving the Arrow of Light Award. Whereas Joshua became a member of PAC 63 in September of 2011, and whereas since that time, despite his physical disabilities, Joshua has not missed any den meetings except for scheduled hospital visits. Whereas Joshua has participated in several campouts with his PAC, raced cars in the Pinewood Derby races, sold popcorn, helped raise funds, and even washed cars at the PAC car washes. Whereas even though Joshua wears really ugly socks, let's see, hold on. He has now completed all the requirements and earned the highest honor in Cub Scout, the Arrow of Light Award. Now therefore, it's with great pleasure that I, Michael P. Beck, and the Lower Township Council do hereby congratulate Joshua on this outstanding accomplishment and wish him the best of luck as he moves on to bigger and better adventures in Boy Scouting. Congratulations. I didn't write that. I didn't know if it was signed. Okay, now we got John Payne. Congratulations. And you also achieved the Arrow of Light Award. Whereas John joined PAC 63 in September of 2013 as a Bear Cub. Whereas John is involved in both his school and church bands and plays Little League baseball at every position. Really?
I've been in every position.
Really? Amazing. John loves being a Cub Scout, has participated in 2 Pinewood Derby races, attended PAC campouts and car washes, also attended a 9/11 memorial held at Cape May Point in May of 2013, and helped place American flags on the graves of veterans interred at St. Mary's Cemetery in Lower Township. Whereas John has now completed all the requirements and earned the highest honor in Cub Scouts, the Arrow of Light Award. Therefore, it is with great pleasure that I, Mayor Michael E. Beck, and the Lower Township Council do hereby congratulate John outstanding accomplishment and wish him the best of luck as he moves on to bigger and better adventures in Boy Scouting. Nice job. Smile.
Yours?
This is the guy that deserves all the credit, that puts all the hours in, and makes these kids grow the way they do. We want to thank Frank. Where you at? The Cub Master? Thank you. Okay, we have a proclamation I have to sneak in real quick, supporting the Click It or Ticket mobilization of May 18th through May 31st, 2015. Whereas there was 556 motor vehicle fatalities in New Jersey in 2014, whereas a large percentage of the motor vehicle occupants killed in traffic crashes were not wearing a seatbelt, whereas the use of a seatbelt remains the most effective way to avoid death or serious injury in a motor vehicle crash, whereas the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration estimates 135,000 lives were saved by safety belt usage nationally between 1975 and 2000, whereas the state of New Jersey will participate in the nationwide Click It or Ticket seatbelt mobilization from May 18th to the 31st in an effort to raise awareness and increase seatbelt usage through a combination of high visibility enforcement and public education, parentheses tickets. Whereas the Division of Highway Traffic Safety has set a goal of increasing the seatbelt usage rate in the state from the current level of 88% to 90%. Whereas a further increase in seatbelt usage in New Jersey will save lives on our highways, therefore be it resolved that Lower Township declares its support for the Click It or Ticket seatbelt mobilization, both locally and nationally, from May 18th to the 31st, 2015, and pledges to increase awareness of the mobilization and the benefits of seatbelt usage. Thank you. And now we have a presentation from a dear friend, Kathy Louderback, from the Chamber of Commerce. And this is called Lower Township Community Pride. Feel free. Do we have a microphone available for you there, young lady? Dig in. No.
Hello? Is it working?
Yep.
Okay, good. Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, Councilman. You're going to love this. This is great. This is, what we're doing is we're inviting Town Council to join us in a Community Pride initiative. We're launching a new website for the Chamber. It's not only going to be a resource for our members, but the community, visitors alike. It's going to be a celebration of Lower Township. It's going to be great. We're kicking that off with a photo contest, where it's beautiful Lower. We're going to have people upload photos to the website, and then everybody can vote on them and their favorite photo. We want to reach out to the school kids. We'd like to have the high schoolers maybe do an infomercial about Lower, maybe work on a marketing campaign. We want to claim for Lower what is Lower's, like Diamond Beach, Sunset Beach, the lighthouse, the brewery, the wineries, all these great things, the K-May salts, are in Lower Township, and so many people don't recognize that. So basically, what we're trying to do is point out all the great things about Lower and let the community take pride in that. Also, we'd like to suggest that you adopt Home of the Best Sunsets as our official slogan, as it is a very relatable thing for the township. And what else? I think that is basically it. But what we're looking for is we're looking for input from you. We're looking for ideas. We're looking for cooperation. We also want to have a Sunset Festival and have that an annual thing. We'd like to have it over at the ferry. Mike Porch is receptive to the idea, and we'd like to invite other community organizations that want to do the same thing to join with us. Let's all, pool our resources and see what we can do. So that's essentially it.
Comments, questions?
I think it's a wonderful idea. I've been talking to other people. I brought this up at council approximately a year ago. We have to start telling people how wonderful it is. I know there's a gentleman here that was getting a video ready. It hasn't been okayed, and we're not set to present any videos tonight that could possibly help. You've talked to him in the past. He's standing in the back. Hi, Pete. But we're trying, we need to get the word out how wonderful this place is and all the little
Exactly.
things. We have to, the sunsets, the beaches, which we're going to address a little bit later. But you look what we have. We should be proud of what we have.
Absolutely.
And when we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, it's like we have to understand Lower. People are coming down here on vacation to Wildwood, Cape May. Lower is where it's less stressful, less traffic, less everything. It's enjoy yourself. Okay, how much can you do at the boardwalk or packed malls, boardwalk mall or down at the beaches?
You're right, they're
People enjoy it.
one-trick ponies, but here, they have so much more that they can enjoy, like Cold Spring Village,
Nature. We got everything.
the Coxhall Creek. There's so much that we have to be proud of, and I think we got to start recognizing it.
I agree. We talked about it, or you were talking about it down at the beach cleanup, and great idea. We're selling ourselves, and we have a lot of resources here in natural resources right here in Lower Township, and that's the other avenue of coming to the shore besides the boardwalk and the restaurants and so on and so forth, where we have a little bit something different that the other municipalities don't have, and we should sell it. Absolutely.
Same here. I've lived here my whole life, and I appreciate the things that we have. Our biggest commodity in Cape May County is tourism, and a lot of times the coastal beach towns, the ocean side always gets all the attention, and we need to sell our, market ourselves and show people what we have to get them here.
Kathy, one of the greatest assets we have in Lower Township is the Lower Chamber of Commerce and the enthusiastic body that you lead, and we'll do anything we can to help you. This is a great initiative.
Yeah, thanks for stepping up. Just a thought that maybe we could do something as a kickoff when we have, say, the concerts over at the ferry. Maybe even a table there or something that promotes Lower Township as a starter. And maybe down the line having I know it's all the concerts or Lower Township concerts, but having a specific night that kind of a Lower Township night to try and get as many people over there and to spread your message. What I'd really like for you to do is maybe to put something on paper and tell us what your ideas are, and tell us how we can help you. And that if anything we think of, or as far as on council or something, we can forward them to the manager, and he can get in touch with you. But whatever you want to do, I think council and the township's behind you, and the chamber. Chamber has been phenomenal. The Lower Township Chamber, for a township chamber, is just outstanding. They're a great group of people, but they accomplish a lot. When you think of what they've done through the years, whether it's the hospitality night and a variety of other things that they have that they sponsor, we appreciate that. Okay?
Thank you, Mayor.
All right.
One more thing. Are we able to have better signage around the perimeter of the township, like in Diamond Beach, like over at Sunset Beach, something very noticeable that we could have up. I mean, are we able to do that?
We were looking into that. at
Well,
one
we
point.
can, but it's just a question of what you're looking for. Some things we can do and some things we can't do.
I guess we need to know the parameters.
Yeah, and then then there's again, it's a cost factor. If you're going to get special signs, that goes to a different level. But whatever, we can talk about that. That can be put on the agenda also. Okay?
Great, so we're in?
Oh, yeah, you were in before you came here. You,
All right.
you were all good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Manager Ridgway?
Good evening. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Mark Schrey and Robert Mainberger from Hatchmont McDonald will now be presenting a study of Roseanne Avenue from an engineer's perspective. Please save your questions until they finish their presentation, and they will answer all of them at that time. So, Mark, Bob?
Good evening, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, and Council. I'm Mark Schrey with the firm of Hatchmont McDonald, and I'm here with Bob Mainberger from our firm. The manager asked us to come tonight to update you on the status of the Roseanne Avenue project. If you recall, we came before Council back in September of 2012 to fill you in on the results of our underwater investigation that was performed on the trunk line of Roseanne Avenue. And you can see I brought the same presentation board that I had from that meeting and that I've passed out. In summary, we've basically found out what an 1986 report to the council had indicated was that approximately 50 to 60% of the main trunk line in Roseanne Avenue currently is filled with material, which undermines the capacity of stormwater during events in the area. At that time of council meeting, we also requested approval to move forward with Phase 3, which was a hydraulic study and stormwater mapping of the area that contributes to this outflow line. And if you recall, we were looking at an area of approximately 150 acres that currently drains through this pipe from the Bay Shore development on the west side of Bay Shore, as well as the Schooner Landing development on the east side. We asked to move forward with Phase 3, tasks 1 and 2, which would, in conjunction with Public Works, identify all of the stormwater structures and piping in this contributory area. That was completed in October of 2013, and the maps and a CD was forwarded to your township engineer at the time. In January of 2013, however, we were asked to hold up on doing any work on tasks 3 through 5. Tasks 3 through 5 were a hydraulic study of the contributory area of the water and stormwater going through that system, a report and recommendations regarding alternatives that we would come up with to alleviate the flooding in this area and address the deficiencies in the existing pipe. And then task 4 was a report and recommendations to council. Task 5 was a materials testing element. If you recall, when we did our underwater investigation, there was a significant amount of material in that pipe. And the question became is whether that material would be able to be disposed of at the county landfill. And to determine that, we have to do material testing on samples throughout the pipe, which we have to forward to the MUA prior to any disposition on their landfill. So tasks 3 through 5, again, is what we are looking to move forward on at this point to finish out the study phase of this project. And we are here tonight to, we offered a proposal to complete that work.
Are you done?
I am. Yes.
Okay. You want questions from the out front, Jim?
Are you comfortable taking questions there, or do you want them to come to the microphone?
Whatever
If folks, would you approach the microphone, please, with your questions so everyone can hear them?
Good evening, I'm Sally Yerk. I was here for this study 3 years ago, and that's my concern. It's been 3 years. We've lived there since 1979. I look at the dates, and 1985 was the study that was taken, and I have pictures of our home in 1983 with 6 inches of water behind our home, and the reason why is because we had no drainage then. It's not gotten better. Most of the people in our area have sump pumps. We don't have basements. That's for our backyards. I know people that don't drive down the 200 block, they'll go around because all the potholes. And since 1985 to 1995, all those homes in the development from Roseanne back to Legates Farm and then up to Bay Shore have been built. I get very concerned about driving down my street. I get concerned to park on my street, and it's not better. I don't want to have to wait for 3 more years for something to be done. And I know the people here tonight, they don't want to do that either. So I hope that this is going to move a lot faster. I'm hoping that you can go from, okay, we have dates, because we're not going to be able to drive down the 200 block of Roseanne much longer. And just this week, for the second time since maybe February, in front of maybe 206, we have another water break there. I don't know if it has anything to do with this, but coincidentally, it's been within a very short time. And so now we have cones up again and more of a ditch. So I'm asking you, please, council, do something quickly, because I don't want to see front page paper that we now have cars in a ditch. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just one more comment. Phase 3 study proposal that we have before you, it is our intent, should we be authorized to move forward, is to have a report and an alternatives analysis back to council, I believe by August 17th, or the first August meeting. I believe
Yes.
in the proposal, so.
Okay. Is there any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Kathleen Dinah, Tranquility. Out of curiosity, once you get the approval from council, how long does it take?
Our proposal is to finish the study and reports and alternatives and budget estimates for those alternatives within 90 days and report to them by August.
Then who does the work? Do you do the work?
Correct. We will do
Okay.
the hydraulic study, correct.
Well, I mean, the study is nice, but it doesn't solve the problem. Who does the work to make it better?
We provide the study and the alternatives to council. At that point, council makes the decision on whether or not to go forward with the project.
And you're capable, your firm, of doing the work?
Yes, we have done these.
Thanks.
Not the physical construction. The study, the hydraulic study.
Council, you all right with it?
I'm fine with it. This has been going on long enough. We need to get
Wanna
this
move forward?
rectified, yes.
David?
Yeah, we have to move forward with this project now. That's my opinion. Kicking a can down the road don't cut it anymore. I've been back in there, I've walked back in there, back when I was campaigning, and I heard these people, and I was out there recently to make sure that they were here tonight to voice their opinion, ask their questions, and see what's going on, and yeah, put us on the spot to move forward with this. And it's time to move.
All right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's-
Norris?
I agree.
I agree also, so we're ready.
Anyone else want to ask questions, may come up front to the mic, please?
Yes,
Jim O'Reilly, I live on Clearwater next to the outfall pipe.
right.
That pipe is 3/4 underwater now, and we haven't had rain. There is something stopping the water from going from the end of the pipe to the bay.
One of the things that we were able to do during this period, let me assure the residents that, you know, in all honesty, we've been working to try and solve these issues. The Coxhole Creek area, we spent the last, from 2013, it took us a year, but we got that resiliency grant. What happens in the creek happens in the neighborhood. And one of the things that we have in the pipeline is the study that will be able to tell us what to do with that estuary, the Coxhole Creek itself. And we got $250,000 for this kind of study. We don't own Coxhole Creek. I mean, I'd like to go over there and solve your problem tonight, but it's the county, the MUA has a piece of it. The township does not have any. The state, one of the theories has always been that without Coxhole Creek, you don't have the flooding over there. That's pretty obvious. And by allowing those pipes to clog up like that, that certainly has to be considered a factor in some of the problems that we're now talking about. Well, we didn't have control of those pipes. Now, I can show you two different pictures from 2005 and 2013 that shows you the flow coming out of Coxhole Creek. And if you look at it, you can see how opening up the pipes has created a much larger flow coming through there
Since they dredged a
since
couple
they
years ago,
since they opened up the pipes.
that water level has increased since they did that.
Well,
I used to be
this
able to see
shows
the bottom of the
it
water.
might be, and this is what we don't have control over, is the gate.
Right.
Not so much the amount of flow out of the neighborhood, but amount of control of the gate itself.
It's damming it up and it's backing it up.
That's, and
And-
this is why it's a huge mosaic. The township has always understood from day one, always, that we were going to spend money over there. We just want to make sure, for the sake of these people sitting here, that when we spend it, we fix it.
Is there any way on the other side of Bay Shore to divert their pipe and build them a catch basin? Because on a heavy rainfall, you can go over to Croydon and sit there on the corner, and the water actually comes out of the inlets.
Yeah. And there's,
I think they're 14 feet at Bay Shore. We're like 5 feet, 6 feet.
right.
That water is going to push ours up
Well-
out and stop it from draining.
And it's a whole mosaic with a lot of factors that go into it, and some of the pieces have come together, and it's time, absolutely time to move forward with this.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
That gentleman had a question back here?
I don't have a question. It's Ed Sharetta, 306 Roseanne Avenue. I just would like to say that what I'm hearing is that you are going to move forward on this, and I would hope that would be true. I understand there are problems, but this is 2015. We can solve problems. I saw Cape May, Frog Hollow for centuries flood, and everyone said that couldn't be solved, and it's been solved. And all I'm asking you to do is, evidently this has been going on, there's information on there from 1983 or 85. It's 40 years. It's been 3 years since I've been involved, and I keep hearing the same thing, that it's going to be taken care of. I hope we are moving forward. I just personally spent $16,000 on my property to help solve some of my problems. And I don't mean this in a sarcastic way, but I think it's time for the township to step up to the plate. This is some place that they allowed to be constructed.
You're right.
The pipe that
That's
you
the
know
truth.
the pipe has been a problem,
right.
and it's time to fix it. And I don't mean that sarcastically. I'm just stating a fact here.
Another piece of this puzzle is if you look at maps that go back about 50 years ago, and right next to the gates and the area that the homes are built on now, a lot of the land was on islands. There was water in there. And you fight that when you go over there because it's a tough nut to crack. I mean, if we paved over Coxhole Creek, we wouldn't have the drainage problems. I mean, if we put a huge culvert in there and just drained the water out of there, they're not going to let us do that. So it's going to be kind of tough, but that's where these guys come in order to sit back and say, some of it could be rainfall and drainage issues, and some of it can be groundwater. And that's being honest.
I understand there's problems, and it'll take some effort to solve those problems. But it's 2015. There are solutions, and
Right.
certainly the pipe clogged the way it is not helping the situation for certain.
No, it's.
I mean, what I read on that report there is that pipe is almost non-existent.
Well, they told us in the beginning, and the flow does show that there's an increased flow coming out of there. But when we first had the pipes cleaned, they said it would take a couple of years for the full effect of the water to come through the pipes and pull some of the garbage out of there. I hear what you're saying, but we just, like I said, we just want to make sure that as we move forward, and it's time to move forward, that we have the pieces together. And one of the major pieces, of course, is the study that's going on with the resiliency grant. So they're all dovetailing at one time, and we'll do the best we can for them.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
Joe Link, Town Bank. I want to say, Mr. Perry, I think you listened to the people. I remember back in the 80s, I thought a bunch of us came into this town hall, and we never thought that this project, that whole housing development there, should have been approved, but it has been, and no one up there should be blamed for what's happening. But you can't keep kicking the can and expect these people are losing. I feel for them, because who would want to buy their homes? They see that it's flooded, the word is out. It's really devastating, and we have to start thinking of what these people are going through since early 1980s. The other thing is, though, we always seem to approve the study, so to speak, but then politics starts coming in. It's going to be, well, it's too expensive. We have to watch the money that we're spending. So it will become a political issue, majority versus minority. I hope it doesn't come. It's going to be an expensive remedy. I don't know much about engineering, but I see it being very expensive. But I still believe you can't allow these people to be paying taxes and not get the proper services. So I hope that the council sticks together when it comes to getting the bill. Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you. This gentleman here in the yellow, then the guy in the back.
My name is Paul Yerk. I live at 229 Roseanne Avenue. I don't know if I have a question, gentlemen. I don't know if it's related to the water or not, but this is a concern that I have that is a lot more immediate, I think, than the water situation, which is the gosh darn street is sinking. There are holes in the street. There are potholes, of course, they're alluded to, but it's actually sinking. It's been doing that for years. And I wondered if something could be done in a more immediate fashion to remedy the situation. I would hate to have a child fall into one of these holes, because you never can anticipate when something like that would happen. I don't know what the answer is. I don't have an answer for it, but I certainly have a question that I wanted to address this body with in regard to the street itself.
Would you give the information to the manager if we have something that is a safety factor? I'm sure Gary Douglas, our Public Works guy, will go out and look at the specific section or wherever the hole is.
Well, it's between, there are several of those holes and sinkholes, I suspect, that have been filled in over the years, but they just, it's exacerbated to the point now where they keep sinking. And they're filled in, and I find that Public Works has done an excellent job in fixing them up, but I'm looking for something on a long-term type of resolution to the problem.
The problem is this is all tied in together.
That's what I wonder. I figured that it did, but I wanted to bring it to the attention.
Mr. Yerk, I agree with you. This morning, we had the MUA along with the Director of Public Works at 8 o'clock at 216 Roseanne Avenue. There was a problem, as Mrs. Yerk stated, over the weekend. And that's why the cones are out there. But there's also other issues along the street there. Our immediate need is to get this study finished so that they can come back to us and give us the next step, which is to handle not just that, we have to look at the water line, the sewer line, et cetera, and analyze the cost at that point. And at that point, yes, we're going to have to decide where and how to get the money to do a project. And then it'll be in council's hands. But we don't know that until he's completed it. And the project was stopped last year, so nothing was happening. Something is happening right now, because they have told me they would have the completed, telling us about the sediment, if we can get rid of it locally or not,
before August. That's probably not soon enough for people who are living there, and the immediate problems we'll handle with Public Works as quickly as we can. But we know how serious it is on that street.
And that's right, Jim. I just simply wanted to initiate the concept that we're concerned about it. Okay? Thank you, gentlemen.
All right. Somebody else, this gentleman in the back?
Hello, Mayor, Council. How are you tonight?
All right.
Oh, I'm sorry. My name is Brian O'Connor. I live at 4 Edgewater Road, and I'm the GIS specialist for Cape May County, who's in charge of the Coxall Creek project. So I'm kind of an expert on the Coxall Creek project. The problem here is not with Coxall Creek. The Cape May County Mosquito Department dredged 16 drainage basins, ditches, to clear out Coxall Creek. The main problem initially, when the pump station was there, it was stagnant. We had Phragmites that was over 18 foot tall. There was nothing living there but black snakes and maybe a couple of raccoons. All right, now you got something really vital, okay? You don't see the Phragmites like it used to be. You can actually see across the creek. You see gorgeous shorebirds. I've been lauded by the Audubon Society, the Littoral Society, NJDEP, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and New Jersey Fish and Wildlife, and Ducks Unlimited, and they love the project. It turned out beautifully. Your problem is not with the tide gate. It works fantastically. It's been open the whole time. I looked at it the other day. There's no barnacles on it. It looks gorgeous. It's doing what it's supposed to do. When Sandy came up, 4 days before Sandy came up, we closed the gate from to Delaware Bay, so no salt water could come in, and we drained the creek. We had almost 10 inches of rain during Sandy, all right? And Clubhouse Road did not overflow, all right? Because even though the gate that faces Delaware Bay is closed, that still allows the water to go into Delaware Bay depending on pressure. And quite frankly, a 48-inch pipe with that much acreage is like filling a pool, okay, with a hose. It takes forever. All right, you have tide coming in, tide going out, but because it's so restricted, it's not doing any flooding. Okay, the most salt water that can get in that creek is at an elevation of 3. Okay, there's properties around there that are at 4 and 5. But I'm telling you right now, Mayor, if you clear that line and if you get your water into Coxall Creek, these people won't have flooding problems.
Well, I think that's part of the intent.
Except if we have extremely wet years, like in 2009, 2010, where we had 80 inches of precipitation. The groundwater just came up. And we had people on Tabernacle at elevation 23 getting flooded.
Yeah, well, that was exceptional.
That was exceptional.
But I have a couple
But you
questions
fixed
for you
that?
while you're here. What about, remember when they had the pumps over there?
Yes.
Was that a better solution?
Absolutely not.
Not, that didn't help at all. Because I've heard that from some of the people in the neighborhood.
I've heard that from every engineer I've talked to.
That it didn't help.
No, because they always broke. And
Well,
plus,
that part I
plus you didn't have any, you had 18-foot Phragmites. Is that what you wanted?
No, I don't.
Okay.
In fact, that's exactly what you don't want. But I'm saying if you had something that could get water out of there under certain emergencies, a pump like that kind of a deal, that would be a different story, not for normal.
I totally disagree with you. Why waste the money? Okay, it was proven in Sandy where we had 10 inches of rain that Clubhouse Road didn't overflow. And that's only at elevation 6.
Well, has the flow in the pipes improved?
Absolutely.
Since the,
In underneath Clubhouse Road. But that's where you need a culvert. Okay? That's where your main blockage is. But that's still not nearly, that's the problem for those
is
people.
groundwater a problem?
Of course, groundwater is always a problem in the spring if we have a very wet winter and very spring. It's really common sense.
Well, I get that, and the problem you have is that even in some areas, you go up, and I was over there when we had a pretty heavy rain a couple of weeks ago, and the streets were dry, but some of the properties obviously had water on them. And I mean, that's why at one point, about a year and a half maybe or so, we brought down FEMA with the, to see if we could raise houses in some ways. But the money only applied if you had structural damage.
But again, Mayor, those water in the backyard is not a function of Cox Oil Creek.
No, and I understand that, but I'm just trying to see, but it's still a problem. You know,
I don't have an answer for that
no,
problem.
and that's what, and that is what we're trying to say. I'm trying to say that we're looking at every specific piece of this puzzle, and at the end of it, I'm not 100% sure that we can solve every problem over there.
Well, that's one piece I have no knowledge of, except I know what groundwater does. When we get a lot of rain, it comes up.
And I got...
Okay, and I will tell you, one part of the problem is not Cox Oil Creek. Cox Oil Creek right now, what the county did, what the Public Works Department did, what the Lower Township MUA did, working together, they solved the problem for next to nothing.
Well, how long were those pipes clogged?
Your pipes have been clogged for years. That 85.
Well, and that's the point, that's part of the point that I'm trying to say, is that, you know, I'm not sure it was the township's responsibility to go into Cox Oil Creek to clear them. And I mean, first time I knew the
The
pipe...
problem is not in Cox Oil Creek, the problem's in the pipes.
Well, I know, but they were clogged.
You know why they were clogged? Because you leave leaves on the street, and all that stuff turns to grit. No, let me finish with my speech. All right, you don't maintain your inlets, which you should have forever, all right? And that's why. You clean your streets, maintain your, make sure your people know, like just the other day, right, we got beautiful streets right now, okay? And one of my neighbors down the street leaves as long as this room, all right? He came back from the winter and rakes his leaf, and you know, there's got to be a little education program going, I think, with the citizens so they know.
Well,
and that's really all I have to say.
all right.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank
I
you.
get where you're coming from, but, you know, the other side of it is, part of my bone of contention is, I don't know that I really knew that there were pipes out there that were blocked until we began the whole Ducks Unlimited project a few years ago to clear them out.
Yeah, there was a study in 2002, R&V. You were
Well,
on
that's when I
council.
first found out. I'm just saying that they were clogged for a lot of years there. And that's part of the problem of the entire collapse. But that being said, you know, we're here tonight to look at the next step, and that part of
I'm
it.
very happy.
Thank you.
Wait a second, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Groundwater, it flows.
Yes, sir.
Now, you're saying it needs a culvert under clubhouse.
You need a culvert under Clubhouse, yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the water that comes out of Cox Oil, you'll see is groundwater, and the way that you can tell that is the tannins going out into the salt water turn red.
And now I heard that if we increase the pipe size of going outward at the dunes, that might help the issue also, but that's not our, and don't get me wrong, that's not a township thing.
I always let the professionals tell me. I don't tell the professionals.
Okay, I'm just...
Okay, but one thing we all agree on is that there needs to be a culvert under Clubhouse Road.
Okay.
That's where the main restrictions, because if you watch tide heights, you have hard-running tides coming in. There'll be a backup in that area. And also, there'll be a backup if there's a lot of rain on an outgoing tide. You know, it's common sense.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, move forward. Thank you.
One more, Mayor.
Somebody else wants to come up? This gentleman? Okay, I didn't see him. Yes, sir.
During Sandy, Clubhouse Drive may not have flooded, but most of Lower Township in the Roseanne, Croydon, all those areas there, they flooded. Okay, so the problem isn't solved by Cox Hall Creek, apparently. We still have work to do. I have a simple question. What about check valves? When it rains hard, you can stand in the house and watch water coming out of the storm drains. And my feeling is it's coming back from Cox Hall Creek because those pipes are underwater. Wouldn't a check valve solve that problem?
I have to speak to the
That's
expert.
something we're going to evaluate. You're absolutely right. The invert of the outfall there is down at minus 2.3. So that pipe is, the outfall is constantly underwater. We will look at that in conjunction with other alternatives, in conjunction with pump station and so forth and so on. But yes, we understand that we have to provide some type of means to prevent water from Cox Hall coming back up into the system.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question to the engineer. When you finish the study, supposedly, or somewhere around August, you'll have engineered alternatives of what we can do to alleviate this problem, correct?
Correct.
And
I think we said we're prepared to present our findings to council at the, I'm sorry. Yeah, our proposal, we're prepared to present our findings and budgetary estimates for those alternatives at the August 17th meeting.
Okay,
Thank you.
very good, thank you.
Okay. All right, Jim, we'll move on.
Thank you.
Thank you. Move down to the consent agenda.
I'd like
Oh,
to.
beach rules you got. We forgot
yes,
beach
that's
rules.
right.
You want to explain them?
I had questions regarding the beach rules that were presented. And my first question is to our solicitor. The proposed beach rules that we have, are they for township-owned property beaches
As I
only,
underst-
or all the beaches?
No,
within
as
the
I
township?
understand it, they are township-owned beaches.
Okay. Thank you. That answers my question.
Is that it? Anybody, well, it's on the consent agenda.
Bill has, I don't have any questions.
Oh, but yeah, it's on the work session. You have that. You can if you wish.
Is this about beach rules?
Yes.
Yeah, Bill Greenfield, Villas. Part 172, definitions.
Right.
You have, let me read it off to you, just one paragraph. Watercraft means kayaks,
Right.
inflatables and non-inflatables, stand-up paddle boards,
Right.
body boards, belly boards with skegs, rowboats, sailboats, catamarans, personal watercraft, jet skis, and power boats.
Right.
I think you're making a mistake lumping kayaks in with jet skis and power boats. Tom?
You and I talked about
Right.
this, and we were going to get the solicitor to confirm that. If you go a little bit further to Article, which article is it?
Says they can't be within 50 yards of a
Yeah,
bather.
it's towards watercraft.
I saw that. That's at the end on
For the most
Article
part,
5.
it's, they don't want, and the solicitor could confirm this, they don't want people leaving their kayaks and other things on the public beaches. Private beaches, we have no say on if they want to allow catamarans, kayaks, boats up there, but if someone owns the beach, obviously. But this is, for the most part,
Well, I think you need to have a separate definition for smaller things like that or that weigh 50 pounds, because in the future, you make rules that apply to watercraft, like jet skis and power boats, they're going to apply to kayaks. Like as far as certain launch areas, which I can see what you would want to do with jet skis and power boats, but kayaks, you should be able to launch them at any street end.
well, this allows that.
And
Doesn't say you can't do it.
I'd like to see something in there.
Well, they
stating that,
probably,
you know?
I don't mean to interrupt you, but you have the North Cape May Kayak Club down there. And I'm just saying that I kayak, and
Right.
I get, I had mixed emotions, because sometimes when you're coming in with a kayak, if it's rough, if you lose it, and if somebody's in the water, you could actually hit them with the kayak. That being said, I mean, where do you draw the line in a certain way? Go ahead.
Well, that's actually, for kayaks, all it is for the most part, you just can't leave it on the beach or leave it in the dune. That's the only thing it's saying.
I'm not sure. It says watercraft.
Watercraft?
Okay. All right, okay. Is that what it is?
I mean,
It's-
Yes.
I think you need a
It
separate
says
designation.
set upon or leave a watercraft attended or unattended on a dune. Land a motor or sail-powered craft onto a beach within 50 yards of bathers. Operate a motor or sail-powered watercraft within 50 feet of bathers or swimmers. And all boaters are required to wear personal flotation devices. So there's nothing about landing or
But
launching kayaks on the beach. It's
there's
just,
also, I don't think there's anything in the state regulations about, most people do, but you don't have to wear a life jacket when you're kayaking. Most people do.
Yeah.
But it's not, but since it's not a.
well, it says all
powered
boaters, not
vessel-
watercraft. It says all boaters, which falls under a different category. Coast Guard, I believe.
And, you know, you got, I mean, if you're going to be talking, I think you need a separate designation for smaller things like belly boards, kayaks, that they weigh a lot less. They're not as fast as
Yeah.
the other things.
Not as bad as I thought.
And, you know, you got a lot of people, they don't transport their kayaks in trucks or cars. They go from their house, they got a little cart, they put
Right.
it down the street end, and they launch from there.
And there's no problem with that in this ordinance.
Well, maybe that could be spelled out specifically.
Well, if you spell it out, that means there's going to be, there's plus
I
and
mean,
minus.
you have like, I know the kayak club, they have like a rendezvous
Right.
down there.
Right.
And they put the kayaks on the beach, and they have a little rally, I guess that's the correct term. And, you know, they're not, certainly
Now,
not
the thing
hurting
is, if
anybody.
Yeah,
peop-
and it's
if
not in there
people-
about that.
Well, it says you, what part of, well, then what is it that you have against kayaks on here? I'm
There's
missing
nothing
something.
about kayaks, that's the thing.
Well, then why not just take it out of the
Take it out of the
definition of a
definition.
watercraft? It would probably make life a lot simpler. Do you have
Is
any
there-
problem with that?
I wouldn't have a problem with
Whoever's fostering this, I mean, Dave,
If
did
the-
you go with this? I mean, I just, what is it that about kayaks that we don't want them on the beach and we don't, or we don't want?
It just says you can't leave anything on the dunes. There's nothing about
Well,
it on the beach.
that's a separate issue. You're not allowed to leave anything on the
Yeah,
dunes.
and that's what I'm saying, there's nothing really.
Well, then we'll just take kayaks out of the definition of watercraft, and it probably solves his problem. And it certainly doesn't set up a set of circumstance where the North Cape May Kayak Club cannot have their rally down. These are some of the folks here. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't see you sitting there, being honest about it. And I'm just
Yeah,
saying, it
and-
just makes sense.
How about
You go to the definition.
we just knock out the kayaks, stand-up paddle boards, which are basically the same.
Same thing.
Body boards, belly boards.
Right.
Skegs, whatever that is.
I mean, I don't know what
And then just start it as rowboats.
Yeah, you don't want the other stuff on there.
Okay.
So what do you want to do?
Now, what
Cross
do you-
off?
You want to cross off from
Ka-
kayak to
Just start with
through
rowboats?
skegs. Yep.
Start with rowboats?
Yeah.
I mean,
Now-
your
now,
point's
with
well
these-
taken.
With these changes, are people going to be allowed, if they're at the beach, to have their kayaks there? There's a lot of
It was
people-
never, yes.
Okay,
Even
okay.
even without the changes,
Yeah.
they were going to be allowed. to
Here's
have
mine
kayaks.
as a seat and eat lunch on it.
Right.
And being honest about it, that's what they double up as.
And also in the ordinance, I'm not going to speak to that, but I'm sure you're going to hear from other people about the dog restrictions, so. But I'm not going to speak about that, but I'm sure you're going to be hearing about that, so. Okay, thanks, that's good if you take the kayaks out of the watercraft definition there.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Okay, thanks.
Public hearing. I mean, this is still work session.
Right.
When we read it, I'll read it as amended.
Okay.
We'll have to make a motion for amendment.
That's fine.
Do you want a motion?
I think we're going to have to before we actually once we get to it. We'll just knock it off the consent agenda.
Take it off. Okay. Why are you taking it
We're
off?
making amendments to it.
You have to take it
I
off.
think, do we?
But
I
just,
think that would be the cleaner way to do it.
all right. Okay, make it, anybody else have, well, we haven't hit the consent agenda yet. This is still the, somebody else have something to say on this? Yes.
Good evening. My name's Bob Crane from Town Bank. I just want to keep it fresh in everybody's mind. We all live here because it is a unique place. We enjoy the beach. We enjoy taking our dogs. We enjoy kayaking. We enjoy the freedoms of not having to pay to park in Cape May. We're not Cape May, but we have a beautiful spot here. Let's not lose sight of why it's beautiful. Let's not put so many rules and regulations that we lose that.
What I think this was to clean up so that people like weren't parking their jet skis or running it right up on the beach, and that's for the most part, or getting too close to the bathers. And I think that's all this was for.
I don't have any problem with the jet skis because you're exactly right. I've sat down there and watched them drive up on the beach. But if you're going to enforce these kind of rules, then enforce them. But don't talk about it, because I've seen a lot of young kids and people do exactly that, run right between small kids. But the majority of the people that enjoy these beaches take care of their dogs. If they do drink a beer, they take care of their own stuff. They don't get crazy. But there's a minority out there that does. So let's not wreck it for everybody.
And that's what I think these rules are going to help clarify.
Thanks.
All right. Mr. Lynch.
I think we should move on because this isn't as drastic, but talking to Mr. Perry at Candidates Night, I brought up the fact that what we do on Beach Drive, which is owned by the township, should also be coordinated in a fashion that's consistent along the bayfront per se. I agree with the gentleman. I've kayaked across Delaware Bay 12, 13 times. So I understand what's going on, but if you launch at the beach and then you come back on the property owners, I think the property owners should be here, or they should get together and coordinate the same policies along the bay. I think that would go a long, long way, and I think during Candidates Night, Mr. Perry has brought that up, and it makes a lot of sense.
Mr. Link, I notified the Property Owners Association about this revision of the ordinance about a month ago, and they were also advised 2 weeks ago. So, and I believe that they are going to follow basically the standard that the township has out there in this ordinance. As a matter of fact, they were asking about signs so they can post for people when they come on their beach.
And I agree. I think you have the best leadership in the property owners with Dean that you haven't had in a long, long time. And remember, the township has some weight because property, whale of the day, the township's very cooperative with them, and I think that they should do the same for this, with kayaking and any activity along the bay. Thank you.
Okay. We'll move down to consent agenda. Council comments, questions on the consent agenda? Pardon me?
Are we taking that off?
Yeah, that's what, somebody want to make a suggestion to take that 2015?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
Take 2015-04.
I think you can just have it done, period, right? You don't need you don't need that.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, just
We'll
take
do
it
it as
off.
amended.
Okay.
I'd also like to request that Resolution 2015-135 be moved off the consent agenda.
Okay.
135?
Yes.
Anybody else have any questions, comments, or suggestions?
Put it on the regular agenda.
Put it on the regular agenda.
He's moving Resolution 2015-135 from the consent agenda to the regular agenda.
Okay. Open up for public comment on the consent agenda. Close the public portion.
Approval of minutes, April 20th, 2015. Resolution number 2015-134. Resolution 2015-136 through 2015-146, and ordinance 2015-03. A bond ordinance providing for various 2015 capital improvements by and in the Township of Lower, County Cape May, State of New Jersey, appropriating $1,645,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $1,560,000 worth of bonds or notes of the township to finance parts of the cost thereof. This is the first reading of this ordinance. The second reading and public hearing is scheduled for May 18th, 2015.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Resolution number 2015-135, the confirmation of officials for the Joint Insurance Fund for the Municipal Excess Liability Fund. This resolution is replacing the safety coordinator from J. Dilworth to K. Brown.
Okay, council comments? Public comments? Yes. On this issue? Okay. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
A second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Abstain.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
And now, ordinance number 2015-04, as amended. An ordinance revising and restating Chapter 178, Beaches of the Code of the Township of Lower. This is also the first reading of this ordinance, as amended. The second reading and public hearing will be scheduled for May 18th.
Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes.
Regular agenda?
Please?
It's resolution number 2015-147, appointment to the MUA Board.
Well, council suggestions on that?
I'd like to make a motion to appoint Jackie Henderson.
I'll second that motion.
All right. Is there any public comment on this?
Yes.
Please.
Kathleen Dinan. In the interest of not appointing inappropriate individuals to any volunteer, oh, I'm sorry, I meant to give you a copy of this. It's easier. Hold on.
Sure. Absolutely.
I'd like one.
Thank you.
Still didn't get one. Okay, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now you can read along with me and I'll read it for the public. In the interest of not appointing inappropriate individuals to any volunteer and/or council-appointed position, all such appointments should be put on hold until the following policy is adopted and ready for implementation. Sorry, guys, but your track record has not been great. So, policy for all volunteer and council appointments. Effective immediately, the Township of Lower must use the same state-mandated criminal background check for anyone working with children in the Township of Lower for all board and non-board volunteer appointments made by council. Quick diversion. There's no problem with the policy. You use it. You use it now. To further facilitate the process used to conduct criminal background checks, the Township of Lower Citizen Leadership Form is amended to include the applicant's social security number, street address, and proof of full-time residency in Lower Township. Because utility bills and other items with addresses do not prove legal residency, a driver's license, passport, or voter's registration card is required. A copy of the item proving legal residency will be provided to the individuals reviewing the Township of Lower Citizen Leadership Form and retained with that form for the Township of Lower's files. If a candidate has had a criminal background check conducted within the last 3 years, a copy of that report must be provided with the candidate's application for position. Candidates who have not had this check and who are appointed to any position will pay for this report and be reimbursed by the Township of Lower. Should an appointment be made prior to the completion of this process, the appointment is contingent upon receipt by the Township of a clean criminal background record. A copy of this policy and must be given at the same time that the form is given that volunteers fill out. So in other words, they get two pieces of paper. The form saying what they want to volunteer for, and this saying that they'll know they have to go through a criminal background check. Thank you.
Somebody in the back has a comment? We're not talking about this, we're talking about the MUA appointment here.
I would like to comment on just what got said. Is that okay, or is that not okay? About social security numbers and
We're getting
background checks.
about, you know,
I just
we're
want,
getting a little off track with this.
I would just like to say that social security numbers, anybody gets a hold of social security numbers and it will destroy credit. So I don't agree with anybody having to give their social security number to be a board member. And also, I do want to remind council that I don't believe the manager of this township even got a background check before he was appointed manager, correct?
He was an employee prior.
Excuse me?
Okay.
He was
He already worked for the township.
I understand that.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
That is incorrect, and I did have a background check when I was hired by the township, which
I
was
understand
3
that.
years ago.
Right. She said
Okay?
within the last 3 years.
FBI background check. Yes, I did, so.
But not
All
for
right.
this job is what I'm saying. Thank you.
Back to the MUA appointment. Does anybody else have any comments or questions regarding the MUA appointment?
Don't you put your social security numbers on your job employment, your paid job? They need your social security number when
Yep.
you're paid, right?
Yep.
So
Thank you.
you're already collecting that information, so this is
Correct.
just, right, okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anybody else wish to address council? Close the public portion. Do I have a motion?
We already made it.
Okay.
Councilmember Conrad?
Yes.
Councilmember Perry?
Yes.
Councilmember Simonson?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Clark?
Yes.
Mayor Beck?
Yes. Move down to council comments.
At the beginning, we had a moment of silence for Marvin Hume. I'll wait till. That man became a landmark. How a man becomes a landmark, or any person, is amazing. He put Sunset Beach on the map nationally. He didn't do it intentionally. He did what was right in his eyes, recognizing the veterans that served this country. He was a humble man from what I saw, and every time I talked to him, he wanted to talk to people about them. He brought out a beautiful place in this township, that Sunset Beach, that now we're talking about calling this home of the best sunsets. Would that have still been an idea? Who knows? Marvin contributed a lot to this township without trying, and a lot of people should emulate what he did. We're going to miss him sorely. I also like to remind people at the end of this month we'll have Relay for Life, and hey, if you want to go see a good baseball game, check out the Little League schedule. These kids are playing for a good time, and they'll like anybody that shows up. Support them. They're a wonderful group of kids.
I'd like to thank the citizens, the residents of Bayshore Estates for coming out tonight. I heard everybody loud and clear this time last year, and I got the word out to you to let you know what was going on tonight, so you could be informed, so you could see what council's going to be doing to try to solve this problem. Hopefully by August we'll have an answer and a direction in which we need to go to correct this problem. And I commit 100% to do whatever I can to make this happen. Also, I'm sure you've been watching the news up in the Pinelands. They have some wildfires going on. Just want to remind everybody that it's that time of year. We have the dry air. The atmosphere is just right. All it takes is somebody to flip a cigarette out the window, car window, to light something off. We do have woodlands around here, and just be careful. Watch your neighbors. Make sure that they're being careful. Right now, there is a restriction for no outside fires until that ban is lifted, probably in a couple days. We get some rain. It'll be different, so just keep an eye out. Try to eliminate any fires before they start. Thank you.
Can I really quick?
You'll see on the news, they had it posted tonight on the news, and usually the Forest Fire Service website is a great tool to use. New Jersey State Forest Fire Service.
Real quick, I almost forgot, if Eric doesn't mind. Memorial Day is coming up. What greater way to pay tribute to Marvin Hume than to go to Sunset Beach for the flag ceremony on Memorial Day. It's a beautiful ceremony. It'll be the first one he misses, and if we get as many people out there as possible, I think that'd be a good tribute to start with. And his flag is being flown. His casket flag will be flown that day. Yep.
All right, yeah, I'd just like to reiterate all those things said about Marvin Hume, and just prayers out to his family. He was a true patriot and just a model citizen. And I know he also helped bring the New Jersey Run for the Fallen, along with Eileen and many others. But, you know, it always started off there, and it will continue to start there. That's the starting point, amongst other things. But, again, he's just a man that loved his country and his community. So with that, we also want to thank everyone that came out and supported or volunteered for the Thomas Family Benefit that was held on the 26th at the Bayview. As you know, Dave Thomas, one of our own township employees who passed away recently. It was a great turnout, raised a lot of money for the family. And it was just a great day. It was nice to see everybody come out and support such a great cause. Along with that, this Wednesday is Lower Township Elementary Spring Concert at the LCMR PAC Center and at 7 p.m. And this Thursday is Richard M. Titleman's Spring Concert, also at the PAC Center at the high school at 7 p.m. So also before the RMT concert, there will be an art show as well by students of the middle school. So get out, see some great free live entertainment. Thank you.
I just want to reiterate what everyone's been saying in terms of Marvin. He's taught generations of people in this township the meaning of patriotism, including me as a young man watching those flags at those ceremonies at Sunset Beach. And we continue to watch him through generation after generation teach the meaning of loving this country, and we're going to miss Marvin very much.
He was a remarkable guy, Marvin. If there was somebody that you could invent to be the person that you want to represent this township, you couldn't have picked somebody better than him. You know, it's not often that, you know, people are what they do. And every now and then somebody kind of shows you their heart. And the way he interacted with the family of, and a lot of people don't really know the story, but about a year after 9/11, in his store came a lady with 2 little girls and a boy, and it was asked about flying a flag. Well, it turned out to be a fireman who was killed on 9/11, and he basically adopted that family. And all of us who've been over there through the years, we've watched the little girls grow, and you know, they were toddlers at first. Now they're sophomores in high school. And the way that they would react to him when they got out of the car and saw him was all you needed to know of what kind of a person he was. He did so many things for this town, so much. And he was the greatest, like I said the other day, he was the greatest of teachers. He led by example in a generation that, as they leave, they're not being replaced. And that's a shame. But he stood out even amongst those people. So we will miss him as a friend, and he was friends to everybody, as a patriot, but as a community leader, you know. So he's a treasure. All right, so we have some announcements. The Coast Guard Community Festival is May 8th through the 10th. And on the 9th, at 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., it's at the training center. We got barbecue, we have food vendors, we've got miscellaneous vendors, we've got kids activity, we got search and rescue demos, we've got displays, we've got exhibits. And on the 10th at the ferry terminal, which is 9 to 3 o'clock, I think that's kind of a Lower Township Day over there, right, Jim?
Yes.
And we've got music. I think that's supposed to be music. Kids activities, floral exhibits, interactive exhibits. And then we have a rabies clinic on Saturday, May 16th, 9 to 11 at the Public Works on Seashore Road. Then we have the Armed Forces Celebration, which is Saturday, May 16th at the World War II Tower. Activities from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The ceremony's at 11. Free admission to the tower during the celebration. Then we have a shredding day, which is Saturday, May 20th from 9 a.m. till noon here at Town Hall. Say again?
30th. Wow.
May 30th. Saturday, May 30th. I'm only kidding you.
I was drinking.
From 9 a.m. here at 9 a.m. to noon here at Town Hall. Then the Relay for Life Tom spoke of, May 30th, 31st at the LCMR High School. And pool passes go on sale May 30th at the Rec Center. Get them while they're hot. Okay, that being said, that's all I have. So we open it up to call to the public. If somebody wishes to address council, take the microphone. Here comes this young lady back up. And I know what you're going to speak about, but go ahead.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity. My name is Betsy Kramer, and I want to talk about the dog ordinance.
Okay.
And I am interested in knowing that since all of us have moved here, lived here for many years, some of us either rent or own, but are happy dog owners, and we love to have our dogs roam the beaches. I'm a dog owner, so I would like my dog to roam freely, and I know a leash is important, and I know other folks feel that same way, but some of us may rent out our houses and have seasonal folks come down, and the whole reason they come down is so that they can have their dogs not stay at a kennel, but roam on the beach. So I'd like to know what you all are planning on implementing as limiting dogs on the beach.
Well, the ordinance says 11 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Yes.
And no dogs on the beach for approximately 5 hours, and that's in the summer season. That's from like just before the Thursday before Memorial Day to the day Tuesday after Labor Day. That's basically the only restriction, and it's not something we want to do. I think it's something that most of the council feels that we have to do.
Was there a reason for that? Did somebody get bitten? Is that why you're limiting it, or?
I think, everything we do is kind of a balance, and you start getting so many people that are like, feel they're being, their ability to enjoy the beach is being taken away by a small segment of people who do not control the animals down there during that period. I think it's kind of a compromise in a certain way to try and make it so that people that want to come and enjoy the day don't have any problems at all with that. I mean, cleanliness is an issue. Dave and I did the cleanup last week. I don't even want to tell you some of the stuff that we pulled out down there. I just shake my head at people. I don't understand them. I don't understand what some people do. I mean, I'm almost embarrassed to tell you where people put their dog dirt, and it's just, I can understand why people, this is a compromise.
I don't think dogs are allowed to run free on the beach now, though. I think
No, I'm
Yeah.
talking about bringing them on.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of
Or at
folks
least-
who vacation bring their dogs with them and beach simultaneous
Yeah.
with their dog because they don't want their dog in the house alone, in the heat perhaps, and being able to be, antiquated with their family members. So just curious, is this a dead issue? It cannot be conversed anymore?
That's up to council. I mean, we have another reading on this at the next meeting, and that's when the public hearing on it is. And as a citizen, you're more than welcome to attend and voice your concerns and bring anybody else that you want. And if council feels that they wish to amend it, council can do that at that point, or they can do it, if somebody wants to do it beforehand, they can.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to address council?
Yeah, I would like to publicly say, the manager, Jim, I think you were an excellent selection. I've heard some of the things that were brought out in the past. Maybe it was election talk, but the bottom line is I think you're doing a great service to the community. I think you've been in this community for a long time. The school systems, first of all, I'm not the type that pats people on the back, but I think you're a guy who listens. You're not political, and I believe that that means a lot going forward, and I have a lot of confidence, and I want to thank you after 38 years and paying thousands of dollars that I'm finally going to get a street, which most reasonable, logical people would say this is the right thing to do. Mr. Perry, I thank you for listening because other people didn't listen. Now that brings me to the next point, open public records. I asked the previous manager about an open public records request. Now here's a problem, and I see a conflict of interest. I knew the answer already, and I think the attorney that's sitting next to you, they don't ask questions unless they have the answer. The bottom line is, when I had a problem with the previous manager, the open public records went through the clerk and then went to the manager's office for a response. I don't want to get into all the particulars. I spent over $3,000 in legal battles. Again, I don't want to get into particulars because I brought up a legitimate problem with the street that every citizen should be able to. I think government should be open, and I believe that you're an open person, open-minded, and I believe that that's a great thing for the township. But in open public records, I would like to say if someone had a problem with you, and you should definitely step aside and let someone else handle that problem, conflict of interest. I saw, and I applaud you, Mr. Simons, you're not my board leader, but I applaud you because this thing got out of control. We have someone who did something, we're not getting into the thing, as far as the previous councilman, and you said, hey, what is wrong is wrong. And I think we have to get the message to the people, the young people, that government isn't a bunch of BS, people just doing their own thing for their own purposes. And the best way to do it is to have open government. And I thank you, Jim, because I think we're going to have open government. And we talked about background checks. Well, this isn't my thing, but if we did background checks, I don't think the previous manager would have been here, only because of some of the things that the paper put in. Now, I'm not talking anything, but there was questions about voting in 2 different states. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for open government.
Anybody else wish to address council? This gentleman here.
Mayor, Jay Young, Cape May Beach. I'd like to agree with the young lady talking about the dogs on the beach. I live in Cape May Beach. I take my dog over there every day. On a leash, you already have your big sign that says dogs must be on a leash. So the people that are going to obey the rules do so. And it's, when I go over to the beach during the day, I take the dog with me, and he's on a leash. That's why we like coming here. That's what we like, why we don't go to Cape May Beach. So don't make so many rules that the people who live here can't enjoy the place. It's the folks that aren't really taking care of their animals now that are screwing it up. So anyway, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, go ahead.
A few years ago, we had someone that patrolled the beach.
Your name, sir?
Bob Crane, I'm sorry.
Okay.
We had someone that patrolled the beach to kind of monitor what was going on with dogs, and if they were on a leash, if they weren't, you know, doing the right thing. So when you institute these new rules, who's going to monitor all these new rules that you're putting in place?
Well, the same people that monitor the rules now, which is the police department, the code enforcement, the animal control.
I can tell you, animal control also this summer will have a much more visible presence than ever in the township because they're stationed on the weekends and have to, as part of their contract, enter at, I believe, 20 different entrances along the bayfront, something we haven't had, and they go down and they will be there along with police. So
It's a good thing, but don't make rules you're not going to enforce.
I agree.
This lady in the back with the blue, and then that gentleman over there.
Helen Thompson Villas. About the beach, I also agree that dogs should be able to go on the beach on a leash. I guess you guys have it on a leash. I think you should make some kind of a beach somewhere where dogs can be out off leash. I can't believe in this place there's nowhere. But anyway, there's a lot of dog owners in this town. I have no idea why you guys feel the need to restrict them. I understand, dealing with the extreme weather ordinance, that this isn't the most dog-friendly council there is, but, you have to take into consideration all the pet owners in this township. But on a different subject, the extreme weather pet ordinance. I noticed, Mr. Stefanowicz, you didn't make any changes to that,
We made the one change, one sentence.
but not to
From
the extreme weather ordinance.
From the last time that ordinance was presented, we made one change. It was one sentence, and I think that was provided to you.
Exactly, but it wasn't on the extreme weather ordinance. So it still allows, the way it's written now, it still allows.
It's a cohesive ordinance. The extreme weather provisions remained as they were when it was last read.
Where it allows dogs to be put in a 90-degree unventilated garage in the middle of the summer.
It had a temperature spectrum, but we kind of went over it. I think the mayor laid out the rationale of council on that.
The mayor said that it was Part G of that code.
The mayor said you might be shooting yourself in the foot by making the ordinance more restrictive than it already was, because the way it was written before, common sense prevailed. Now the way it's written, there's black and there's white. So 89 degrees is fine, 90 degrees is not. Where before, someone might have used common sense and applied the ordinance if they thought there was a problem. That, I think, was the discussion.
The reason for the extreme weather ordinance in the first place is because there are some people that aren't using common sense, and animal control felt the need that they needed an ordinance to enforce, to basically force the people to take care of their animals in extreme weather conditions. Again, I would just like to say, Mike, I've been here meeting after meeting for months and months, 4 months, I guess, it's going on the 5th month. Mike has brought up multiple times about Section G covers the extreme weather ordinance. Do you, right, Mike? I mean, you agree with that?
I do. I think it,
Okay, about proper shelter, correct?
well, yeah, we can always fall back on that to
Okay.
charge people under that.
Here's my question. Mr. Stefanowicz added one line to the ordinance, and that was on the tether ordinance in that exact same ordinance. And that ordinance also still has to go by Section G. But for some reason, Mr. Stefanowicz felt the need to add on the tether part, this was the one sentence he was talking about that he added to the tether part of that ordinance.
Right.
Okay? It says, when chaining or tethering dogs, individuals shall strictly adhere to prohibitions contained within Section 161-1G1 and Section 161-G2. Now, for some reason, that ordinance, I suppose, got flagged because, and he had to add Section G. You continue to tell me, meeting after meeting, this council, and justify how that letting a dog be in a 90-degree garage, the Section G would kick in. Evidently, it wasn't going to kick in with the tether ordinance because Mr. Stefanowicz had to add that section into that particular paragraph on the tether ordinance. So if it doesn't kick in with the tether ordinance in the same ordinance, the same complete ordinance, I have no idea how it's going to kick in on the extreme weather section. It had to be added to the tether section.
You getting this, Dave?
He's
I'm getting it.
I know
I'm
he's
getting it.
I mean, I don't have the ordinance in front of
I am
me.
getting it, but the suggestion, in regard to the correspondence with the state, that was a suggestion that came from that correspondence. They did not have any suggestions relative to the extreme weather ordinance. But Ellen, here's the way it's going to work out. I think, people who like their dogs, like their animals, are going to use common sense. That ordinance is not going to work for someone who wants to torment his or her dog anyway. It doesn't matter what kind of language we use.
No, but if there's a dog in duress in the middle of the summer, in a garage, look,
All right, just
can
continue.
you please, Mike?
Yeah, I got you. I don't know where that's coming from. Please stop.
Anyway, if there's a dog in duress in the middle of the summer, and someone calls the Lower Township Police Department and says, listen, there's a dog in duress in the garage, now, what does that ordinance allow? Is that an ordinance? Does that make it mandatory for a cop to go out or an officer to go out and check if animal control happens to be busy? Or is that ordinance only say, well, the dog has to be inside? Can you please clear that up? Because I'm not clear on that.
I think the ordinance is crystal clear on that point.
So that means that the
We're not- we-
officer
we
goes
don't have
out
that
or he
ordinance
doesn't
on.
go out? Huh?
We got the ordinance coming up, I think, at the next meeting.
But does that mean if that ordinance is passed as it's written, with allowing the people to put a dog in a 90-degree garage?
It's got to be voted on at the next meeting.
I understand that, but if the ordinance is passed as it's written right now, how council rewrote it, it now allows people to put dogs in a 90-degree unventilated garage in the middle of the summer, or a 32 degrees unheated garage on concrete in the dead of the winter. That's what it allows right now, because you guys removed two lines, combined them, and made your own one line that now allows that. It did not allow that before, but it does now. You rewrote it. Okay, now, what I'm saying is now.
Well,
What, Mr. Stefanowicz? So now, with it written as it is, and you know how it's written, that if someone was to call in the middle of the summer and say that there's a dog in duress in a garage, would the Lower Township Police Department, according to that particular part of that ordinance, have to go out on that call, or would they say the ordinance calls for the dog to be indoors? What would be the response on that, the way it is written? You wrote it.
If someone were to call and report a violation, the police would investigate it.
What violation would that be, though?
Well, if the police found a violation of the ordinance, they would take action.
It'll be time out on the field real quick. If you have specific objections, which you obviously do, please forward them to the manager via email and send it to council. So that we can, I don't have the ordinance here. It's not fair that we're going to sit back and go through this, and we got other things that are coming up here. So Helen, you've had your time here. What, next meeting for this thing?
Okay, I'm just going to say, you have the ordinance. It was written March 2nd on the agenda, and that's where you
Well,
can read
it
it
was-
on the March
it was
2nd
ta-
agenda.
it was
I-
tabled
I
at that
forwarded-
point.
I understand that, but it was never changed.
Well, I mean, he made some change, and I'm just saying, if you have, whatever objections you have, I guarantee that they will be passed on to council.
I think it was March or April 16th.
Okay, thank you,
I forwarded it. You guys have it. I
Thank
think you
you.
should look at it. Thank you.
thank you. Bill, this gentleman over here is up next. You've been up once before. Let's give him a chance.
I think the lady in the back was
Is there somebody in the back too?
standing right in front of you.
Oh, I didn't see your hand up, I'll be honest with you. Okay.
Yeah, Jim Neville, Talbang, and I want to refer to last meeting, Councilman Simonson, quote, "So we're paying someone over $3,000 that did something wrong." I'm hoping that's not what was referenced earlier. It's a crazy notion. It's all right to go into a place and take something that doesn't belong to you, and I don't agree with that. You don't take things that don't belong to you. Well, I'm not being paid for doing something wrong. I'm being reimbursed for legal fees incurred by actions of the Lower Township Republican campaign. And I'm asking that under the Chapter 25 of Lower Township Code. In my duty as an active councilman, it was my duty to represent my district, which meant being properly prepared in reference to a map that was in my district and is township property. I want to congratulate Councilman Perry, and you beat me in the debate, you beat me in the election, and it was fair, and this is on you now, and I know you're going to do a good job with it. At least I hope you are, okay? But that map belongs to the township, and the court understood that. There was no theft that occurred. The prosecutor dismissed the case. They made sure that the complainant, Lower Township MUA Commissioner Tom Frisoli, understood that. He agreed to that in court. He admitted to that. This is still America, okay? Where the court makes the decisions on who's right, who's wrong, guilt, not Councilman Simonson, okay? All right? The reimbursement included a no-sue clause, which I willingly signed, because it's not in my nature to sue the township or an MUA, because I'm a public official at the time, and I'm also a member of the public, and I grew up here. I don't want to see that happen, okay? The charges never should have been filed. They were unnecessary, totally, all right? In my time on council, it was common for me to hear Mr. Simonson say, I don't understand. And you know what? I can explain it to you, but I certainly can't understand it for you. Thank you.
Thanks. Jim, I can just assure you, as an acting councilman, if I'm going to go in and take something, I will ask for permission first. I promise the people of Lower Township that.
Bill?
Bill Greenfield, Villas. Currently, is animal control responding to noise complaints on the weekends? I know a while ago they discontinued that.
To what complaints?
Barking dog complaints, like.
Yes. It's,
Okay, because I know that came out like a year ago or something. They wouldn't respond from Friday night till Monday morning for barking dog complaints. That policy's
been addressed.
changed? Okay.
they've been providing me with a itinerary monthly of every day's activity. And quite frankly, for the slowness of the season compared to the summer, they've had a large amount of cases.
Right.
So they're working, but they're here all the time now. In the past, this time last year, they would have been up the road.
Right.
Now they're here because they're in the airport, so it's,
Because I know something was put out in the press that, they wouldn't be responding on the weekends unless it was something of an emergency nature.
well, I can tell you, I have not had one complaint about them not responding.
Okay, because it would said police would take the noise complaint.
haven't heard
And
that.
on Mondays, they would.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
Lady, I'm sorry, this lady back here. Come on.
Dave, I'm hungry. I'm thirsty.
Mary Reeder from Villas by the Bay, and I own a dog. I have always owned dogs. I very much appreciate when Buttercup, formerly Goldenrod, walks on the beach that all dogs are leashed. We look to make sure because Buttercup doesn't like dogs.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Tom Frisoli, as you all know. I reside at 419 East Jacksonville Avenue in the Villas, and I am the Vice Chairman of the Lower Township MUA. And this I'm delivering strictly and solely for you, Mayor Beck.
Thank you.
Since the last time you were at a meeting, we've made a lot of changes down at the MUA. We have a new office manager. We have a new chairperson and vice chairperson. We have a lot going on, and every one of the people, councilmen, have been there except for you, and they see what has happened and what is continuing to happen for the good of the ratepayers as well as the taxpayers. So I would like to offer, and we have a new executive director. His name is Michael Chapman, and I would like to give you an invitation to visit us at one of our meetings, just one, to see what's going on and to know these people. We meet 5 o'clock at night, the first Wednesday of every month, and we would be honored if you would come to one of our meetings. That's
Thank
all.
you.
Thank you.
Lady in the back.
Hi, Jackie Henderson, Mickles Run. Gentlemen, ladies, I just wanted to thank you. Thank you for the nomination. Thank you for your vote of confidence. I am looking forward to working for the ratepayers here in Lower Township. I'm looking forward to working with the board. And also, maybe we can go on our 50-cent tour together, learning about
I've had the 50-cent tour.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to get my 50-cent tour because in about
You go
48
for it.
hours from now, I'm going
I've had
to
it
be in the
numerous
deep end of
times.
the pool and such. But I just wanted to thank you. I look forward to serving, and I think some positive strides will continue to be made. And I think with this council, I hope to have a warm and open relationship in the future. But thank you again.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to address council? I see a hand up here.
Gary Muller, Maywood Park. Somewhat related to the Roseanne issue is, I know Public Works has a lot to do, but we push a date of when you're supposed to put leaves and branches out at the curb, and then it doesn't get picked up for months or at all. I haven't had my fall pickup yet. I've got my spring pickup out, and when you encourage people to put leaves and branches out, if it doesn't get picked up, it ends up in the storm drain. So we either need to find a better way to pick it up, or we need to tell people not to put it out. That's it.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to address council? Close the public portion. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye. Jack Beers.